My friends, welcome to the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tier list. Since all the balance patches are done and every character is out, I've completely remade the list from scratch, and every character this time is ordered from beginning to end. Characters will still be in tiers, and I'll be revealing every character from the very last character to the very first. Videos will be split into even amounts of characters rather than specific tiers. In this list, I've also eliminated one of the past tiers I used, consolidating the 3 middle tiers into just lower mid and upper mid tier characters. Get ready to speculate down in the comments who will be coming next and your opinions on this tier list. And without further ado, let's get on with it. It's going to be quite a lengthy list, and I'm going into a little more like detail for each character. But I'm really excited to share it, and I'm pretty sure this is probably the most accurate list that I've made so far, I hope. I know they've been suspect a little in the past, but I really think this is the one. And if it isn't, I'll just get roasted for the rest of my life, and that's okay too. Hbox DI. Alright, for this first video, we're starting off with the bottom tier characters, completing the low tiers, and starting the lower mid tier characters. So here we go. Here, we'll be starting off the bottom tier characters, the literal worst characters in the entire game. Like, the garbage of the garbage. Like, this is what the garbage takes out to the street every Wednesday. You might see a couple of breakout games from these players, but never any gigantic major result upsets. And the worst character in the game, probably to no one's surprise, is going to be Ganondorf. Ganondorf has very slow movement. He's easily camped, he's zoned out by projectiles, and not only that, he is easy to edgeguard. Now we can't forget the devastating knockback of his smash attacks, and the satisfaction a good read will get him. But because Nintendo is no longer touching up the game, Ganondorf is stuck with the recovery that he has. He had a slight buff, of course, that made the up be a little more quicker to act out of, but honestly, contender for the worst recovery in the game, and there's just no forgiveness to his matchup spread. Every single matchup in this game he does have at least some trouble with. I mean, just watch Ganondorf Pika, he'll understand. Anyways, he's the worst. Number 81, Little Mac. When I think of Little Mac, recently I think of Peanut, because Peanut did place top 64 at multiple majors. However, Little Mac does have a bottom 3 recovery in the game. You gotta be really creative with it. Of course, the up B has some good priority to it, but it's just very short, and it leaves him lacking in a lot of regards. His aerial attacks are virtually useless. Of course, there's easy setups that you can do, and interesting ones you can do, especially with Nair, which lead up to other Nairs, maybe a footstool, up here and there. It takes some finesse, but it's definitely there. However, in practicality, I don't think it's as consistent as it should be, and does not make up for the fact that he just is lacking in so many regards. Of course, if we were playing Street Fighter and there was no platforms in this game or edges, he'd probably be a top tier character, but we're not. We're playing Smash Bros. He's number 81, Little Mac. Thank you all for watching the tier list series videos that we've made. Worked really hard on it. To give back to you guys watching it, I'm giving away a $25 Nintendo eShop gift card for every 100,000 views the entire series gets. Be a lot of winners. All you gotta do is like, comment, and subscribe, and you're entered to win. Good luck, and let's get back to the video. Number 80, and the last character in the bottom tier, is Dr. Mario. Ganondorf, Little Mac, and Dr. Mario pretty much unanimously agreed to be the worst 3 in the game. Dr. Mario, he's just like Mario, but so many things that are worse. He has a very slow movement, another bottom 3 recovery, and by the way, having a bottom 3 recovery, having a complete trash recovery, almost guarantees that you'll be in the bottom tier, at least for Ultimate. Something I found interesting. If your character cannot recover at all, they are bottom tier, no matter what else they have. It's kind of interesting. Again, he's vastly overshadowed by Mario, but he does have some strengths, of course. His down B has incredible knockback. His back throw very strong. A really cool spike. His Nair, aka Sex Kick, got buffed, lasts a little longer, has good knockback. Pills can be tricky to deal with. And of course, up B can be a huge knockback move as well too. He's like a burst character. He's like Ganondorf condensed down into Mario's size, and then you gave him Ganondorf's sort of recovery and his speed as well. He could have been so much better. If they gave him the Dr. Mario treatment from Melee, gave him that sort of speed and finesse, this character would be sick. This character would be awesome. Maybe a higher mid, maybe even a high tier. But there's just so many problems with him. Louis Money previously placed well with Dr. Mario before driving the character, and Sumu Soto has gotten surprisingly impressive results in Japan, but Dr. Mario will round out our bottom tier at number 80. Alright, low tier. Finally, we're done with the absolute worst in the game, and on to the almost worst in the game. In the low tiers, you can start to see a bit more leniency in matchups, and the characters can make periodic shakeups if their opponents aren't keen on matchup knowledge. So whereas the bottom tiers every once in a while can make an upset, these low tiers can maybe make an upset run if their opponents have no idea what they're doing. And you'll see why in a second. So, to begin our low tier is number 79, Isabelle. Isabelle has very few results and very few players. The reason she's in low tier and this low on the list is because she's lacking in kill power and landing options. She's vastly overshadowed by Villager, and Villager we'll get more into later. You can see a lot more why he has so many more options, especially when you have a player like Javi on Earth showing that. But in general, it's everything you like in Villager, just taking down a lot of big notches. Of course, she does have some good trapping options for neutral that help redeem the character a little bit, right? You got that fishing rod, which can be some good gimps. You've got interesting use of traps, the Lloyd Rocket, interesting ledge play. Turnips can be kind of tricky to deal with. And in general, you know, her smash attacks, especially up smash and forward smash, huge knockback, but kind of predictable. And if you shield them, you should have enough time to get some sort of punish or read. Her recovery is good, of course, lasts a long time, but if you pop the balloon, she's a goner as well. She's very lightweight. Yeah, just pretty much a nerfed Villager in a lot of ways. And yeah, 79, Isabelle. If you can win with Isabelle, it's very, very impressive. Number 78 is a character that seems to just be bad in almost every single Smash game, apart from like 64 and maybe Brawl? I'm trying to remember if it was good in Brawl or not. But number 78 is Kirby. Kirby has some results in Japan, but apart from that, he has otherwise virtually non-existent placings, at least offline. I know online there's players like Jja, and I believe from Mexico, Gilhu in Mexico, has some pretty good mix-ups with the character. He recently beat Riddles online, but again, that's just online. I really want to keep this as an offline standard tier list. He's very slow in the air, struggles to approach and land. His range is very low. He's extremely light. And with all these together, it just kind of is a perfect formula for a low-tier character. Of course, if you're creative, you can inhale your opponent, mix up their attacks too, find some options that are matchup-specific, and figure it out. And Kirby does have some strings which are downright impressive. So I'm not counting him out for making a run in bracket. That's what this low tier is. And as a reminder, Ultimate is the most balanced Smash Bros. Game. So I literally think, apart from those three bottom tier characters, each of these characters that I'm going to name from here on out, from Isabelle above, with enough finesse, could potentially go on a crazy run. That's the beauty of Ultimate. And Kirby is definitely no stranger to that phenomenon. So yeah, number 78, Kirby. Number 77 is Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant had a patch, last patch, that reduced down tilt lag, and made forward tilt stronger, made down air spike last longer, and allowed down B to start faster. Brood, especially in Japan, is placed pretty well. However, Piranha Plant suffers from having terrible normal attacks, the fact that Piranha Plant is slow, easy to combo, juggle, and edge guarded if wary of gimmicks. Now, you do have a Spike Ball, which can be really, really devastating against floaties and lightweight characters. Has a lot of knockback. Plant is a strong character, but the recovery is predictable. It can be a little like topsy-turvy and hard to read, but as soon as you catch a fine read, it's easily spikeable. And in general, it's just the character it's a potted plant, and they really made the character remind you of the fact that you're playing a potted plant. Of course, players like Send, who have as a secondary, they do showcase the power of the character, but there's a reason this character is almost never a main and usually a secondary or a co-main. So number 77 is Piranha Plant. Number 76 is Lucario. When I think of Lucario, of course, you know, Sue, the legend from Japan. He plays pretty well at Japan Majors using Lucario, but also alongside Terry. Another thing you notice with a lot of these low tiers, they usually are a secondary or a co-main, as was the case with Plant. Lucario is very underrepresented. I really, really enjoy plays from a player named Armadillo. He's mainly, I've seen him more online than offline, but this character can come back from anything, right? You could have Lucario could be being 3-stocked, or his opponent could have a 3-stock lead. And the fact that Aura builds up so insane means that you can get a back air at 60% on most characters, and it'll just kill them. That's wild. That's wild. He's a very chaotic character for that reason. The game really never is over. Like, the more you're losing, the more you're winning. But yeah, Lucario, we know this, relies on aura and taking damage, making him very inconsistent and sometimes nearly useless against characters who take early stocks. So, hype character, but number 76 on our list. Number 75 is the first of our Miis. It's going to be Mii Sword Fighter. Obviously, Mii, I'm not a giant fan of Mii fighters, but we have been seeing more players here and there. However, for Mii sword fighter, I do see very little representation of this character. There are some good players, but in general, the moveset is pretty lackluster. You rely a lot on down throw to up air in order to kill most characters, especially floaties. And the thing with Mii sword fighter is that it's pretty overshadowed by all the links and similar characters. It's like a lot of players can find the same satisfactions, similar setups, and a lot more success with so many of the other swordies in the game. So yeah, to me, when I choose between Mii sword fighter and maybe some of the links, I definitely float towards the links. But some people are diehards and they find some good setups. Of course, Mii sword fighter has some annoying projectiles like the tornado and that little spinning ring disc. I forgot the name of it. But if you use those, you can probably scare your opponent. In general, though, definitely the worst of the Miis. Number 74 is Ridley. Ridley, a big body. The last patch made Ridley dash tech a good bit stronger, but traditionally he has a lot of the weaknesses you would expect in a big body. He's surprisingly light for a big body, not even as heavy as Samus, which is pretty ironic. His recovery is also very limited, despite having an extra mid-air jump. Of course, I have to give, acknowledgement to his tilts, up tilt, forward tilt, really strong back air, really devastating up smash, really high knockback forward smash that comes out pretty quickly. Some good ways to gimp your opponents and to catch them off guard and kill them early, but he's combo food, he's just really, really big. And the up B, while it has a lot of priority, it's slow, has some startup, you can probably see it coming. And yeah, I feel like I've seen less and less Ridley players as time goes on, the notable exception being Nair from Mexico. And you're going to hear the phrase from Mexico a lot. Gali Hugh from Mexico, Ridley from Mexico. Turns out Mexico has a lot of the best players for a certain character. Go figure. Number 73 is Ice Climbers. Oh, Ice Climbers in this game, so strange. Because in Melee and Brawl, they were either a high tier or top tier character, depending on how handoffs / wobbling / desyncs worked. But in this game, it just makes it that much harder. The last patch strengthened their down smash, it made dash attack faster, it made up B activate and grab ledges faster, but Nana's AI is simply unreliable. It's really easy to separate and kill Nana, and decent combos and setups are very difficult. They don't always lead to a stock, and it's nothing compared to wobbling or brawl chain grabs. I have gotten comboed a few times, and the fear of God is instilled in my heart whenever it happens, but not enough for me to warrant any higher for this character to be on this list. So Ice Climbers is and forever will be a low tier character within Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 72, Donkey Kong. Another big body. The last patch made neutral B armor earlier, increased jab 2 frames, and lowered cooldown, as well as adding hit stun to the down tilt. But DK has the typical big body weaknesses as we were talking about with Ridley. The recovery is telegraphed and severely lacking in verticality, so it can go left and right a bunch, but up and down, which is really, really important if you get hit under the stage, it's a bad time. A lot of characters, if they get like maybe meteor spike at like 20 or something, they're going to go down, but they can usually recover. But DK is one of the few characters that really does not have ups with the up B. No verticality at all, and that's a really bad thing. Again, trash recovery, trash character is usually the mantra that I have. I'm not saying his recovery is horrible, but it's pretty bad, and he's also not a great character. But of course, we have seen some impressive plays from players like Chunky Kong, Slushy, and some secondaries from other players. Some really cool setups. Of course, Ding Dong still exists with the up throw up air, but much harder to pull off in this game. And you got to really be creative with your cargo mix-ups and throws to get a lot of proper kills with this character. You can charge up Donkey Punch, but again, you better be accurate. So DK, low turn on this list. Number 71, King Dedede. I think you're seeing a trend here with the big bodies. King Dedede, I love this character. I mean, I've played him to bits. He was my main in Brawl, secondary in Smash 4, and this game. I think he's got a really cool flow to him. However, he does have the slowest airspeed in the game. He has a big body. He has very poor disadvantage state. He's edge guardable. You can read him a lot of things. Gordos can be very annoying and very useful if done properly, but it requires you to sort of play a very patient game. Up tilt can come out quickly. Back air is really, really strong, but takes a while to come out. And when I think of King Dedede, the big upset, of course, was Atomisk over Dark Wizzy, proving the character has some form of viability. But man, some matches of this character are downright atrocious, and relies on just hard reaching the character. I love this character, but I forever think he will be a low tier character. So, with King Dedede at number 71, it is now time for the lower mid tier. We're already getting to the lower mid tier characters in the first video. Ultimate's gotten balanced enough over the years and patches that characters are now closer than ever. In this tier, we're going to start to see signs of viability, so let's finish off this video with the first few characters in lower mid tier. Starting off with number 70 is going to be Incineroar. Really impressed by what SkyJ from Mexico specifically was able to do. He has wins over Chag and Elegant, proving this character can really make some dents in the meta, but he has the slowest run speed in the game. His recovery is very poor. You do have some options though, because when you're recovering, you can jump, you can side B, you can up B in a diagonal angle. Depending on what order you use those, you're going to end up at very different parts of the stage, but still, it's just enough to make him able to do things in matchups. A lot of the wins, the conditions for with this character depends on whether or not he lands Revenge, charges up, and then lands a strong hit, or of course that Alolan Whip, which comes out so quickly and catches so many people off guard. It's one of the best command grabs in the game, and it's just awesome. So it's very satisfying to see, and I'm hoping other players pick up this character too, because I do still think with that much strength in that frame of the character, he can really make some dents. So Incineroar number 70. Number 69, Banjo-Kazooie. For the first time, I gotta say, there's a few solo mains of this character in Japan where the character is more common. He does seem to have some semblance of loyalty among the player base, but there's no like high-level offline representation in the US. The only time I can remember was when Tweak played the character a few patches ago, and even for Tweak to do it, it was just a daunting, just a long game of attrition where he had to play for 6 minutes to get a big lead. The character is meant to be played campy, meant to be played as a zoner, relies on you getting big side B reads with Wonder Wing, but apart from that, he's lacking in a lot of aspects, especially in terms of frame data. The grenade is a great projectile, and of course, down throw can lead into some early kills and a great up tilt, but the character itself has a lot of bad matchups, and you got to be ready to play the long game if you're going to play this godforsaken bear-bird combo. Number 68, Villager. Villager, like I said, much better Isabelle. Kept has good results and upsets in Japan, and more recently, Javi on Earth, I would consider potentially best Villager in the United States, unless I'm forgetting someone better. Please put in the comments below. The reason I think of Javi on Earth is I played him recently at a local, and just really was able to showcase a lot of options for this character. Really scary mix-ups, especially with the tree, and the fact that it's not so much the tree that's menacing, although it is. It's the fact that Villager gets an axe when the tree is there, which has huge knockback. There's no hitbox on the up B, which is a really bad thing for him, because that recovery is very easy to gimp and to pop those balloons, and he falls to his death at 0% if that's the case. But again, bowling ball, huge like X factor that can just kill you out of nowhere. The Lloyd Rocket is another option for recovery. The Slingshot is one of the longest distance aerials in the game, if not the longest distance if you include Min Min. Can be very annoying, can be a very tilting character. Nair is very fast, and of course you have some good options with up tilt, up smash as a read for the fireworks, and of course down smash to shovel your opponent, which leads into some guaranteed setups. The character can definitely do it. Also a wall jump, by the way. The character can do it, but there's such little representation, you don't always see it. But look out for Javi on Earth. Number 67 is going to be King K. Rool. King K. Rool, I mean, you pretty much know about this character with Kirby Kid. Kirby Kid has upset players such as Goblin and Mute Ace. He's honestly a super big body. He gets comboed and edge guarded like super easily and relentlessly. You know, he has a little hitbox, of course, on the top of his up B, which keeps him kind of safe. But if you know how to read it and get around it and go down there with him, he's basically toast. But I really enjoy the creativity a lot of players have had, especially using the crown and the blunderbuss with the suction options, and finding out good ways to land hard reads with the up smash, that up air, which allows them to recover, mix up recoveries in a strange way, and in general, just to intimidate their opponent, with the fact that he does have a very strong armor on his belly that Nair can tank through a lot of things. Back air is very strong, could call you out. Forward air got very butts as well. and up till got buffed. So the speed buffs were huge for this character. It definitely pushed him up at least 10 spots in this tier list. So I'm glad he's more viable. But as of right now, if Kirby Kid can't do it, no one can. Number 66, Pit and Dark Pit. Pit and Dark Pit to me always is like kind of like it's a very vanilla, middle of the line character. They're generally lackluster. They're considered kind of boring. They struggle to kill. There's no hitbox on the up B. They're overshadowed by most of the cast. But fundamentally has options that, you know, work well, theoretically, but has very low representation. Pit and Dark Pit are the character, like, if you lose someone's Pit or Dark Pit, you got outplayed. They don't have, like, a lot of cheese, per se. They have, you know, the recovery, there's no hitbox on that B, but it's a good recovery from a while. You know, the moves come out pretty fast. That down B can be tricky. Side B can kill you pretty early. Has one of the funniest kill screams in the game. I never learned how to read! But yeah, it's just with patience and just waiting until they swing, a lot of characters can counter Pit and Dark Pit, especially Rangers. I mean, I played Jigglypuff, and I still have a pretty easy time with these characters. Although Shiny Mark, Dark Pit, watch out for that. That is some scary stuff. And that is it for video 1. Are you enjoying the list so far? Please let me know in the comments below, and let me know who you think will make it into video 2, the mid tiers. As always, I'll see you next time.